early 2020, the world said goodbye to basketball legend Kobe Bryant. The Kansas City Chiefs came back from the brink to win the Super Bowl, and Parasite became the first foreign language film to win the Best Picture Oscar. Then...
This is CNN Breaking News.
Travel bans, face masks, and fear. We connect you through the latest as the novel coronavirus spreads to nearly a quarter of the world.
Stay-at-home orders went into full effect. The streets were empty and so were toilet paper rolls. 2020 will forever be known as the year of the pandemic, and as viewership across all streaming platforms inevitably increased, so did our interest in movies about the spread of viruses and diseases. Escapism is so passé.
Here we go! I just want one hat. No, not one back.
Okay, that's better. Yo, I'm Alejandro with Hollywood Vulture. This is the good, the bad, the underrated. Today we'll be taking a deep dive into pandemic movies with a keeper, a stinker, and a sleeper. Welcome to my lab. Movies about pandemics used to be labeled as fantasy, horror, or science fiction. But nowadays, it's just the new normal. And even though they are relevant to the current scary world, it's somewhat reassuring to know that COVID-19 is nowhere near as horrific as most movie diseases are. I mean, it's not like we're in a zombie apocalypse. Yet. So without further ado, let's dive right in. The most high-profile pandemic movie to date is Steven Soderbergh's Contagion. A straightforward and frightening drama from 2011 about a lethal, fast-moving virus that spreads throughout the world. Sound familiar? The parallels to COVID-19 are eerie. Screenwriter Scott Z. Burns addressed this in an interview with Slate. Quote, "It has been very strange to me. Whether on social media or in conversations with friends, that people will say to me, 'This is uncanny how similar it is.' And I don't find it to be that surprising, because the scientists I spoke to, and there were a lot of them, all said that this was a matter of when, not if." Unquote.
Everyone started renting and buying the movie Contagion. Is it eerie to even think about doing that movie now that we're kind of living it?
First of all, I found it a little odd that everyone went back to watch that in the middle of the real thing. Right?
Yeah.
It was like you just turn on the news. You don't need to watch it.
Hey.
Yeah, John Neal here. You just had sex with me in a hotel and left without saying goodbye.
Yeah, it ended up being delayed. So, sorry, I was panicking.
Honey? Beth.
Contagion wastes no time in killing off its biggest star, Gwyneth Paltrow, in a coldly swift first act.
Hey, Beth. Mom? No. Stay there, Clark. Don't. Just go up to your room, honey.
Unfortunately, she did die.
Right.
I know this is hard to accept.
Okay. So, can I go talk to her?
Even her innocent mophead son is not safe from the disease.
Clark.
Oh my God, is he dead?
Whew, there's an image you can't unsee.
Are you concerned that the CDC faces a credibility issue here after the perceived overreaction to H1N1?
I'd rather the news story be that we overreacted and that many people lost their lives because we didn't do enough.
From there, the movie blasts off and doesn't let up.
Cover your mouth, please.
Fuck off, lady.
punctuated by an intense EDM score from Cliff Martinez.
Jory, don't touch anything.
Help me.
The Towering Inferno. Steve McQueen and Paul Newman race against time as one tiny spark becomes a night of blazing suspense.
In the tradition of the big Hollywood disaster movie, this pandemic features an all-star cast. Matt Damon grieves his wife and child.
Yep. I'm just looking for the camera.
Marion Cotillard studies patient zero.
What is that? Which one is this?
It's a coin.
Oh, okay.
It's transmission, so we just need to know which direction. I would like to suggest that the virus started before Macau, and maybe here, in Hong Kong.
Kate Winslet surveys the infected.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you some questions.
There was a
and see if
package she messengered from Hong Kong. I opened it with scissors. I'm not sure if
it shouldn't be an issue. Virus can't live for days on a box.
Jude Law blogs his conspiracy theories.
On your blog, you also wrote that the World Health Organization is somehow in bed with pharmaceutical companies?
Because they are. That's who stands to gain from this. They're working hand in glove. And the hand is reaching into our pockets.
Laurence Fishburne warns loved ones about upcoming lockdowns.
I want you to get in your car, and I want you to drive down here to Atlanta right now. You hear me, Aubrey?
What are you talking about?
And Bryan Cranston, well, acts like Bryan Cranston.
We just need to make sure that nobody knows until everybody knows.
As the pandemic gets worse, cities turn into wastelands, shells of their former selves.
Can you get to the part where there's good news?
Panic is in the air.
We have exhausted our supply of meals ready to eat for today.
What?
Please remain calm.
The mobs grow larger and angrier as they impatiently wait for a vaccine that may or may not be coming to them.
When did we run out of body bags? 2 days ago. They're trying to get more in from Canada, but they just want to wait and see.
Contagion was directed by Steven Soderbergh, whose career is evenly balanced with big blockbusters and indie films. This has elements of both.
Typical of a paramyxa virus,
Godzilla,
potentially
King
a
Kong,
mutant on
and Frankenstein, all in one.
The writing is sharp, and the subject is taken very seriously while avoiding the usual Hollywood conventions.
Well, the challenge is to avoid the cliches that typically fill this kind of, scary modern horror film in a way. I want it to be intimate. I want it to be personal.
When was the last time you had something to eat that didn't come out of a vending machine?
Taco Bell?
A lot of trial and error, trying to find that balance between character and narrative, trying to keep the movie moving as quickly as the virus, and having enough science to make you feel like it was real, but not so much that you just sort of...
Virus attaches to the cell like a key slipping into a lock. Somewhere in the world, the wrong pig met up with the wrong bat.
You ever seen anything like this before?
No.
Overall, it's a compelling look at pandemics.
The average person touches their face 2,000 or 3,000 times a day.
How they start, how they spread, and how much they suck.
Hey everybody, this is Matt Damon. So a few years ago, a bunch of us did this movie called Contagion.
I played an epidemiologist trying to stop the spread of a hypothetical virus. To prepare for the role, I spent time with some of the best public health professionals in the world. And what was one of the most important things they taught me? Wash your hands like your life depends on it.
That's right, Kate. You tell them. I think Contagion resonates with viewers who are sitting at home during quarantine these days because it is so realistic, especially its emphasis on face masks and washing hands.
That's a great story. It also happens to be true.
I also think that people like watching scenes where glamorous celebrities convulse uncontrollably while spitting up goop.
Of all these movies, if you had to sit down on a plane or wherever and watch, what would you probably watch and you wouldn't mind getting through it?
That I've done?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, honestly.
For as smart and plausible as Contagion is, Outbreak is the complete opposite, improbable and dumb.
He's not sick.
He's a local juju man, a witch doctor. He believes that the gods were awoken from their sleep by the men cutting down the trees where no men should be, and the gods got angry. This is a punishment.
The rest of the movie is so overbaked and heavy-handed, it makes this opening seem subtle.
Every cell is dead. Now we see them individually, searching for the next victim.
Motaba. Well, you know, it sounds like a perfume. One drop and you'll feel so different. Your lover will melt in your arms. Here, try a sample.
It stars Dustin Hoffman and Rene Russo as competing disease experts. He works for the Army.
Sir, I sent you the fax 6 hours ago.
Sam,
I can't believe
I'm not going to issue an alert.
And she for the CDC.
Colonel Daniels believes that this is serious enough to send out a special alert.
Well, I suppose I understand your allegiance to your ex-husband, but both you and I know that the chances of this virus showing up in the U.S. are virtually nil.
They're one of those movie couples who are separated but still care for each other deeply, so their eventual reconciliation is all but in the cards from page 1.
You know that you're giving me all the pictures of us.
Yeah, you can keep them.
Louis, move over. Get over. Get over there. Get over. Get over. Move over.
You're scaring him. Louis.
That's because you let him get on the couch.
Elsewhere, an African monkey is illegally smuggled into the United States by Patrick Dempsey.
Is he the one you call McDreamy or McSleazy or McSteamy?
Who hopes to sell it to a pet store owner.
Look at her. You asked for a monkey? I got you the monkey.
What do you mean, look at her?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
I told you a male.
You said she.
I said male. Customer's already got a female. He wants to breed her.
That plan falls through, and so it's released into the wild.
There you go. That's it.
It almost goes without saying that the cute little monkey is, of course, carrying a deadly virus.
Are you gonna eat the rest of that cookie?
No. You can have it, Sheriff.
No. Bobby, don't bother the nice man.
McDreamy? More like McSuperspreader.
You look like shit, baby. What's the matter?
I don't know. Something I hate or something.
Yuck. What follows is an effective and clever series of shots showing the terrifyingly fast spread of the virus, including a good commercial for avoiding movie theaters.
This is pretty sobering stuff. Did you have any idea about viruses and never think about that kind of stuff before you looked into this?
No, it was a surprise to me when I got the part and had to study, saw tapes on it.
Are you a believer now?
Well, you have to be. It exists.
Oh yeah, with everything that's going on today, and it's very scary. And there's been a lot in the news about this actual thing happening. I mean, it's been changed slightly for the film, but yeah, I mean, this could happen at any time.
McDreamy? More like McNostradamus. Unfortunately, despite a promising build-up, the latter half of Outbreak does not continue down a clever path.
Now, as I understand it, you want to firebomb the town of Cedar Creek, California, population 2,600, vaporizes everything within a mile of ground zero, men, women, children, and one airborne virus.
It nosedives into pure stupidity and becomes a standard brainless action movie, employing every cliché in the book. The hero who nobody believes.
This is the scariest son of a bitch I've ever seen.
Forget Ebola, forget Lassa. This bug kills so fast, Billy, you could be dead in...
I'm not going to base one of my first official decisions on a hunch when the Army won't back you.
It's not a hunch. I'm faxing you the whole epidemic, Robbie. I got a lab full of dead animals here. You know it's the biggest thing we've ever seen.
Oh, Jesus. You're killing me.
Fresh, brand new virus.
You're still killing me.
A standoff between a conflicted supporter of that hero and the cartoon villain with no conscience who will do anything to stop that hero.
I have a presidential green light on Operation Clean Sweep, and I am going forward.
An overlong chase sequence. And finally, preposterous for even this movie, a scene where the cute little monkey and the original carrier of the virus is captured by the hero in the nick of time after using the young girl who befriended it as live bait.
If you see this monkey, call this number at the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta.
Here, Betsy.
Come on, Katie. Come on. No.
Betsy, come on. Here, Betsy.
There we go then. Term for a pig's nose plus Dustin Hoffman, Rene Russo movie about a viral epidemic. What a dumb movie that was.
Outbreak.
Outbreak is right, Tim. Half the movie involves dialogue in these suits, these giant red and yellow suits where you can't see the actors. Classic. So it's like the robot from Lost in Space doing, you know, some kind of important movie. It's like totally stupid.
Director Wolfgang Petersen, hot off the heels of In the Line of Fire, lost his way here. He knows how to make suspenseful action movies and all. Hell, his next project was Air Force One.
Get off my plane.
But this time, he made a big monkey mess. Outbreak does earn extra points for Kevin Spacey's over-the-top death scene.
How many brain cells did I kill?
How many? About a billion.
Ooh. Now I'm only as smart as you.
What can we give him to kill his sense of humor? Hold him. Hold him.
But that's not enough to save it. Kevin Spacey is a sympathetic guy? That's a stretch.
Do me a fucking favor. Shut up, listen, and learn.
Kind of takes your breath away.
Fun fact, Betsy the monkey would go on to make a guest appearance on Friends as David Schwimmer's pet.
Guys, there's somebody I'd like you to meet.
You can only go up from Outbreak.
Oh, Jesus. You're killing me.
Not to be confused with the 1967 Anthony Quinn comedy which shares its title, The Happening is a sci-fi mystery from 2008 about a mysterious plague that causes people to commit suicide en masse.
There's something happening in a few states.
It stars Mark Wahlberg, playing it straight as a sensitive science teacher.
Look, I don't know if you guys have heard about this article in the New York Times about honeybees vanishing. Well, apparently honeybees are disappearing all over the country. Tens of millions of them just disappearing. There's no bodies, no sign of them, they're just mysteriously gone. It's scary, huh?
And Zooey Deschanel in an oddball performance as his loopy wife.
Causing specific, self-damaging, and catastrophic effects. Just how the toxin works and who determines...
It makes you kill yourself. Just when you thought there couldn't be any more evil that could be invented.
The happening in The Happening involves plants that release deadly chemicals into the air.
Okay, babies, We are going to be going, but we will be back soon, okay?
Oh, plants react to human stimulus. They proved it in tests.
Once inhaled by a human, the person becomes dazed, acts bizarrely, talks incoherently, and then kills his or herself by any means necessary.
Calculus. I see in calculus. Calculus.
Stacy!
Calculus.
Stacy! Stacy Ann!
It's nature's revenge on mankind.
You okay? They say Boston got hit too.
Where'd you hear that?
A friend from work. What about Yvette?
Oh, okay, she made it out on the bus.
Train service has been discontinued. This will be the last stop for all passengers.
Hey, why would you just stop? You can't just leave us here.
Sir, we lost contact.
With whom?
Everyone.
Wahlberg and Deschanel flee the city, along with a newly orphaned girl, and attempt to avoid any and all plants. Yes, that is the plot, for real.
No.
I don't know.
The toxin is affecting them?
Nobody, certainly from my school days, would believe that I would be playing, especially of all teachers, a science teacher. It was my worst subject. I did some studying up and spent quite a bit of time at the Ben Franklin Institute in Philadelphia.
I'd be scientific, douchebag. Identify the variables.
But to be able to believe it, you know, that's my thing. I've spoken different languages in films, and, you know, my whole thing was, it's one thing to understand, to be able to say the words, but to be able to actually understand what you're saying, and to be able to commit 110% is more important to me.
Elliot, please tell us what to do!
I need a second, okay? Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
Wahlberg certainly does commit 110%, and he has fun with the role, as in this scene, where a plastic plant is mistaken for the real thing.
Plastic. Talking to a plastic plant. I'm still doing it.
Among the supporting players are John Leguizamo, a fellow teacher who uses math statistics as an ineffective calming tool.
How much would you have if I said I would pay you a penny on the first day, and then 2 pennies on the second, and then 4 pennies on the third day, and I just kept doubling it? I did this for a month. How much money would you have at the end of the month?
Spencer Breslin, the kid from The Kid, who puts the P in Panic.
You ain't from around here. You best leave now.
Okay, it's not worth it.
Open the door, bitch!
Hey, Josh, don't do that. He didn't mean that.
Listen, we just want some food for a little girl, you pussies! Jess, come here.
Betty Buckley, an old lady who puts the B in batshit crazy.
You lost? You must be.
You trying to steal my things?
No, Mrs. Jones, I actually wanted to talk with you.
You all are gonna leave right now!
Ma'am.
And Jeremy Strong, aka Kendall Roy. More innocent here as a military man too scared to lead.
When I approached the base, I saw military personnel in the barbed wire, in the fence. So I suggest no one take that road.
This town about 8 miles behind us. There were bodies on the road into town.
Cheese and crackers.
The Happening was written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It tends to be lumped in with his much maligned genre of ludicrous thrillers with twist endings, a la The Village.
It is a darkness I wished you would never know. Forgive us our silly lies, Ivy. They were not meant to harm.
But that's not entirely fair. As mentioned before, Shyamalan is self-aware and knows the material is silly.
I hear you whispering. Planning on stealing something?
No, ma'am, we're not.
Plan on murdering me in my sleep?
What? No.
His goal here is to entertain in the vein of Alfred Hitchcock by making a stylish popcorn flick.
I wanted to set out to make the best B-movie you've ever seen, you know? And it somewhere slipped into something deeper. I tend to break genres a lot. And this, it is straight up the middle, an end-of-the-world movie.
The Happening is not a masterpiece, but he does paint a properly grim atmosphere and offers mostly effective thrills with a dash of dark comedy.
You like hot dogs, don't you?
The movie breezes along and then it's over before you get sick of it.
To be perfectly honest, this was an act of nature, and we'll never fully understand it.
The Happening came out in June of 2008, the summer of The Dark Knight. Clearly moviegoers were hungry for a blockbuster that was more serious than campy.
Why so serious?
Preferring human villains to plants. But I think enough time has passed where it deserves a reevaluation. Right?
Are you joking?
What? No.
This has been The Good, the Bad, the Underrated.
Destruction complete, case closed, crisis over.
Be sure and check out the companion video, 10 Pandemic Movies in 5 Minutes. Before I go, I just want to do one thing.
I am your father.
I'm Alejandro. Fade out.
You know it's the biggest thing we've ever seen. Fresh, brand new virus.
You're still killing me.